Summer Spellman is standing at the edge of a precipice, and it isn't just the departure gate at Manchester Airport. Is she a girl chasing a dream, or a fugitive running from a nightmare she created? One thing is certain. The good girl of the cobbles is officially gone, replaced by someone far more desperate. Was this really just a panic mistake? Or is Summer Spellman actually a cold-blooded killer finally showing her true colors? The situation in Weatherfield has shifted from a tragedy into a full-blown psychological thriller. After the death of Theo Silverton, the police are circling the residence of number 11 like sharks in a feeding frenzy. But while everyone was looking at the usual suspects, the hot-headed Gary Windass or the protective George Shuttleworth, the spotlight has swung violently toward Summer. We are witnessing the total disintegration of a character who has spent years being the moral compass for everyone else. This isn't just about a murder, it's about a young woman whose internal pressure cooker has finally exploded. Why is this happening now? Summer has spent her entire life losing father figures. From Drew to Billy and finally Paul, she has been conditioned to survive loss, but Theo represented something different. He didn't just die, he was the catalyst for Billy's death, and that kind of trauma doesn't just sit quietly. My interpretation of this is that Summer isn't just running from the law, she's running from the version of herself that was capable of writing those dark thoughts in her journal. Let's talk about that journal, because this is where the Saint Summer image completely shatters. When George Shuttleworth accidentally knocks over her bag and finds her diary, he isn't just finding a teenager's private thoughts. He finds a line so visceral it makes your blood run cold. A description of putting a gun to Theo's head. Analysis. This isn't just venting. In my opinion, this is the psychological manifestation of years of repressed rage. Summer has always been the fixer, the one who beats herself up for every mistake, from cheating on an exam to her battles with bulimia. But when it came to Theo, she couldn't fix the pain he caused. She could only fantasize about ending it psychologically. This journal serves as a shadow self-reveal. We all have a dark side, but Summer's is documented in ink, making it a legal and social death sentence. She is terrified because she knows that in the eyes of the law, intent is everything. Emotional insight. Imagine the sheer, raw panic of knowing your darkest, most private, vengeful thoughts are being read by the man who is supposed to be your protector. It's a violation that has pushed her into a fight-or-flight mode where flight is the only logical conclusion for a fractured mind. And then we have the brooch. The infamous pig brooch. It's such a bizarre, specific detail that it feels like a micro cliffhanger in every scene it appears in. Kit Green, the detective who seems to be playing a very long game, spots this brooch in the background of Lisa's wedding photos. This isn't just a piece of jewelry, it's a physical tether to the crime scene. Opinion. Summer wearing that brooch to a wedding, the same brooch found covered in blood in the flat, is either a sign of incredible arrogance or a subconscious cry for help. It's as if she wanted to be caught, or perhaps she's so dissociated from her actions that she didn't realize the evidence was pinned to her own chest. This leads us to the interrogation room, a place where Summer Spellman looks utterly out of place, yet terrifyingly suspicious. When DS Lisa Swain brings her in, the power dynamic is fascinating. Lisa is a mother, a woman who has seen it all, and Summer is a girl who has spent her life being good. Psychological layer. Summer is using her innocent student persona as a shield, but the cracks are widening. She describes the experience as horrific. But is it the interrogation that's horrific, or the fear that the truth is about to leak out? Harriet Bibby has played this perfectly, showing us a Summer who is clutching at straws, trying to explain away the mounting evidence. But the real betrayal, the one that really stings, comes from within the house. George Shuttleworth, the man who has stepped into the void left by Billy, is the one who ultimately puts the nail in the coffin. When he tells the police about Summer's lies, he isn't doing it to be cruel. He's doing it because he's a man of conscience who saw something that night, something we've only seen in cryptic flashbacks. Analysis. George's decision to speak up represents the collapse of Summer's safety net. If your family doesn't believe you, who will? It's this specific betrayal that triggers the airport plan. Summer's reaction to George's suspicion is telling. Instead of breaking down and confessing, She turns the tables and accuses him of being the killer. Opinion: this is a classic deflection tactic. It's an aggressive, defensive move that shows just how far Summer has drifted from her usual empathetic self. She is cornered, and like any cornered animal, she is lashing out at the person closest to her. This isn't the Summer we know. This is a version of Summer forged in the fire of grief and suspicion. Now, let's get into the Great Escape itself. The plan to flee to the States. On the surface, it's for university, a chance to start fresh. But we all know the timing is too perfect. Todd Grimshaw, ever the loyal and perhaps equally guilty guardian, encourages her to accept the offer. Interpretation: Todd isn't just encouraging her education, he's facilitating a getaway. He knows what it's like to be on the run from the police, having done it with Summer years ago. In his mind, he's protecting her, but in reality, he's helping her look like the most guilty person in the history of Weatherfield. The imagery of Summer with that hold-all, bumping into Todd on her way out, is the ultimate micro-cliffhanger. She's terrified of being arrested, which is a very different emotion than being sad to leave. Psychological error. This is a regression to her childhood trauma. Whenever things got too turbulent in the past, she was whisked away. Running isn't a new strategy for her. It's a learned behavior. But this time, she isn't an innocent child being protected by Todd. She's an adult woman making a conscious choice to evade an active murder investigation. But wait, there's a twist. Just as she's ready to disappear into the terminal, she remembers a witness who could back up her alibi. Analysis. Is this a genuine memory, or a desperate fabrication created by a brain that realized it can't actually outrun the law? If this witness exists, why did it take a trip to the airport to remember them? In my opinion, this witness is the only thing standing between Summer and a life sentence. But if the witness falls through, her attempt to flee will be used by the prosecution as consciousness of guilt. She has effectively gambled her entire future on a single, sudden recollection. While Summer is plotting her escape, the rest of the street is falling apart in sympathy. We have the Driscoll family dealing with the fallout of Megan's release. Emotional insight. The parallel between Will and Summer is striking. Both are young people groomed or manipulated by older, darker forces. Theo for Summer, Megan for Will. Will's lashing out at Bethany Platt shows how trauma can make you see threats everywhere, even in those trying to help. It's a mirror to Summer's own lashing out at George. They are both kids who have been forced to grow up too fast in the shadow of monsters. Then there's Daniel Osborne, who is being haunted by the truth-teller online troll. The fact that these trolls are dragging up the old, grooming accusations involving Daniel and Summer is a genius narrative move. It reminds the audience, and Summer, of the time her reputation was first weaponized. Interpretation. The past isn't just the past in Weatherfield. It's a weapon that gets reloaded every few years. Daniel is hiding in a builder's yard flat, while Summer is trying to hide in a different country. They are both in exile, one literal and one metaphorical. And let's not ignore Sam Blakeman, whose mental state is spiraling as he sees malevolent visions of Roy Cropper. Psychological error. Sam's visions of a dark Roy, warning him not to trust anyone, are a chilling reflection of the atmosphere on the street. Trust has completely evaporated. If Roy, the man who is essentially a human cardigan of safety, can be seen as a threat, then nobody is safe. Summer is living in this same environment of paranoia. When Sam sees Roy as a monster, it's not just a hallucination. It's a symptom of a community that has lost its moral center. Prediction. What happens when Summer gets to that airport? I don't think she's getting on that plane. Coronation Street doesn't let you escape that easily. I predict that Kit Green or Lisa Swain will be waiting at the gate, not with a boarding pass, but with a pair of handcuffs. The witness she remembered? I have a feeling they might not be the savior she thinks they are. What if the witness actually places her closer to the crime scene? Or what if the witness is someone like Christina, who is already caught in her own web of lies? The consequences for Summer are massive. If she stays and fights, she has to explain the brooch and the journal. If she runs, she loses her place at university and her freedom forever. Opinion. Summer is her own worst enemy right now. Her intelligence, which was once her greatest asset, is now being used to overthink and overcomplicate her defense. She's trying to play chess with the police, but she's playing with missing pieces. The emotional weight of Harriet Bibby's performance cannot be overstated. We are seeing a young woman who has essentially lost her mind to grief. She thinks she's being logical, but she's acting out of pure, unadulterated fear. Psychological error. This is complex PTSD in action. When you lose 3 fathers in such a short span of time, your brain's danger sensor is permanently jammed in the on position. Every move the police make feels like a personal attack, leading to the erratic behavior we're seeing now. Analysis of the Theo factor. We have to remember who Theo was. He was a man who stole Billy away and took a part of Todd. He was a parasite. In a way, Summer might view his death as a cleansing of the street. Even if she didn't pull the trigger, or use the gun she wrote about, part of her is likely relieved he's gone. And that relief is what makes her feel so guilty. She's not just running from a murder charge. She's running from the sin of being happy that a bad man is dead. That would break most people twice her age. Whether she makes it to America or not, the Summer Spellman we knew is a ghost. Prediction for the reveal. I think the flashback we haven't seen yet, the one George is agonizing over, is the key. It won't be a shot of Summer killing Theo. It will be something much more ambiguous. Something that makes her look like a killer without actually proving it. And that ambiguity is what will keep us hooked for weeks to come. Psychological error. The good girl syndrome. Summer has been perfect for so long that she has no idea how to handle being bad. Most people would call a lawyer and wait. Summer, because she doesn't know how to be a suspect, tries to solve the problem herself by disappearing. It's a tragic irony. Her desire to be good and stay out of trouble is exactly what is making her look like a hardened criminal. Summer Spellman is standing at the edge of a cliff. Honestly, it is not just the departure gate at Manchester Airport we are talking about here. It is her whole life. Is she just a girl chasing a dream, or is she a fugitive running from a nightmare she actually created? You have to wonder, right? One thing is for sure. The good girl we have known on the cobbles for years is officially gone. She has been replaced by someone far more desperate and, frankly, terrifying. Was this really just a panic mistake? Or is Summer Spellman actually showing us her true colors for the first time? The whole situation in Weatherfield has shifted. It started as a tragedy with Theo Silverton's death, but now it is a full-blown psychological thriller. The police are circling number 11 like sharks. But while everyone was looking at the usual suspects, like Gary Windass or George Shuttleworth, the spotlight swung violently toward Summer. We are watching the total collapse of a character who is supposed to be the moral compass for everyone else. This is not just about a murder. It is about a young woman whose internal pressure cooker has finally exploded. Why is this happening now? Well, think about it. Summer has spent her entire life losing father figures. First there was Drew, then Billy, and then Paul. She has been conditioned to survive loss, but Theo was different. He was the reason Billy died. That kind of trauma does not just go away quietly. My take on this is that Summer isn't just running from the law. She is running from the version of herself that was capable of writing those dark thoughts in her journal. Let's talk about that journal. This is where the whole Saint Summer image completely falls apart. When George Shuttleworth accidentally knocks over her bag and finds her diary, he isn't just finding a teenager's private thoughts. He finds something that makes your blood run cold. She wrote about putting a gun to Theo's head. This is not just venting. In my opinion, this is the psychological result of years of repressed rage. Summer has always been the fixer. She beats herself up for every little mistake. But when it came to Theo, she couldn't fix the pain he caused. She could only dream about ending him, psychologically. This journal is like a shadow self reveal. We all have a dark side, but Summer's is written down in ink. That makes it a legal death sentence. She is panicked because she knows that in the eyes of the law, intent is everything. Imagine the raw panic of knowing your darkest, most vengeful thoughts are being read by the man who is supposed to protect you. It is a total violation. It has pushed her into a fight or flight mode where running is the only thing that makes sense to her fractured mind. And then we have the brooch, the famous pig brooch. It is such a weird, specific detail, isn't it? It feels like a cliffhanger every time it shows up on screen. Detective Kit Green spots this brooch in the background of wedding photos. This is not just jewelry. It is a physical link to the crime scene. Honestly, Summer wearing that brooch to a wedding, the same one found covered in blood in the flat, is either incredibly arrogant or a cry for help. It is like she wanted to be caught. Or maybe she is so checked out that she didn't even realize the evidence was pinned to her own chest. This leads us right to the interrogation room. Summer looks so out of place there, but also terrifyingly suspicious. When Lisa brings her in, the power dynamic is crazy to watch. Lisa is a mother and a seasoned cop. Summer is just a girl who has spent her life being good. Summer is using her innocent student persona as a shield, but you can see the cracks. She says the experience is horrific, but you have to ask, is it the questioning that's horrific, or the fear that the truth is coming out? Harriet Bibby has been amazing at showing us a Summer who is just clutching at straws, but the real betrayal comes from inside her own house. George Shuttleworth is the one who really finishes her. When he tells the police about her lies, he isn't being mean. He is a man with a conscience. He saw something that night, something we have only seen in those cryptic flashbacks. George's decision to speak up is the end of Summer's safety net. If your own family doesn't believe you, who will? This specific betrayal is what triggers the whole airport plan. Summer's reaction to George is really telling. She doesn't break down and confess. Instead, she turns the tables and accuses him of being the killer. Talk about a classic deflection tactic. It is an aggressive move that shows how far she has drifted from her old self. She is cornered. Like any cornered animal, she is lashing out at the person closest to her. This is not the Summer we know. This is a version of her forged in grief and suspicion. Now, let's look at the Great Escape to America. On the surface, it's for university. A fresh start. But the timing is way too perfect. Todd Grimshaw, who is always the loyal and maybe guilty guardian, tells her to go. Todd isn't just thinking about her education. He is helping her get away. He knows what it's like to be on the run. In his head, he is protecting her. In reality, he is making her look like the most guilty person in Weatherfield history. The image of Summer with that hold-all, bumping into Todd on her way out, is such a tense moment. She is terrified of being arrested, which is a very different feeling than just being sad to leave. This is a total throwback to her childhood trauma. Whenever things got messy in the past, she was whisked away. Running is a learned behavior for her. But this time, she isn't an innocent kid. She is an adult choosing to dodge a murder investigation. But here is the twist. Just as she is ready to disappear into the terminal, she remembers a witness. Is this a real memory? Or is it a desperate lie made up by a brain that realized it can't actually outrun the cops? If this witness exists, why did it take a trip to the airport to remember them? In my opinion, this witness is the only thing between Summer and a life sentence. But if they don't pan out, her running away will just look like proof of guilt. She is gambling everything on a sudden thought.